Hello, and welcome back to another episode as part of our Uni Guide series here at ZNotes. My name is Zubair, I'm the founder of ZNotes, and I'm really excited to have the co-founder of TenjinAI to be part of our episode today. TenjinAI is leveraging AI and expertise over decades in university application to ensure that you get the best study abroad experience as well as scholarship opportunities as well. But Peter's going to tell us more about that. Welcome on board, Peter.
Thank you very much. It's fantastic to be here. And good morning, good day, good evening, depending on where you all are. I'm currently sitting in Vietnam at the moment.
So it's a little bit later for you, evening, I think.
Yeah, but it's all right.
Thanks so much for all your support. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about how we leverage AI in our university applications, and I'm excited to see the best use cases in the different stages of the applications. But before we get started, maybe you could tell us a little bit about TenjinAI.
Yeah, of course, happy to. So at TenjinAI, we basically working with students, mostly with high school students, but also students aiming to get into master or PhD courses across the globe, mostly with Vietnamese students, but we are open to basically anyone, and we are supporting them in the whole study abroad journey, depending on the needs. Of course, sometimes it means supporting them over half a year, making sure every part of the application is perfect and they are supported. Sometimes it's more about different stages of the application journey. Sometimes only interview preparation or motivation letter feedback. So it can encompass the whole journey or just part of the journey.
Gotcha. So today we're going to speak a little bit more about how AI can be used in specific stages. So tell us a little bit more about the stages that we're going to be going through today.
Happy to. So I will try to give you, I'm moving to the agenda part as well. I will try to give you a basic understanding of why you should use AI in your study abroad journey. What is the right uses, what is the ethical use of AI, and I want to highlight that part as well because it is important. And then we will talk about a few stages. The main one will be how to select, how to find the right course for you. So that's a lot of research involved as well. And then we will move on to how to create a plan for the whole application. It can be quite complex depending on how many courses people apply to. Then we will talk a bit about writing a CV, writing a motivation letter or statement of purpose, and also interview preparation. So, I will focus mostly on the first part, but I will touch on every single part, and I will give you a few tips and tricks as well on the tools to use.
Amazing. And I just want to highlight for our live listeners that we'll also be able to take in questions from you directly and kind of get Peter's thoughts on them as well. So as we're discussing, feel free to send your questions in, as well as the dedicated Q&A session at the end. But let's get started.
Sounds amazing. So let's start with why AI is important in the study abroad journey. So first of all, it saves time, a lot of time, and you will see how much. Faster research, faster steps in the different process. So saving time, fantastic. It is also personalized, depending on how well you use AI. You can get tailored feedback. You can get specific points in how to prepare, what is the best for you. And it also improves the chances of success, as it will create more quality materials in the whole application journey. Throughout the, let's say, 45 minutes that I will talk, I will try to be as practical as possible and give you lots of quick or more complex tips on how to use AI and why you should use it that way. But at the beginning, maybe a bit around the ethical use of AI. In the past few years, I would say that more and more people are using AI, and ideally, and the aim is that it makes things more effective, efficient, and better in the whole application process. But sometimes, if you're not using it right, it can also mean a few issues. For example, if you are, let's assume, a high school student or a first-year university student, and you got an essay to write, and then just write to ChatGPT the task, and then just copy paste what's happening, that's probably not going to end well for you. So what's important to maintain originality. So use AI to assist you and not to replace your efforts. And don't copy directly full AI-generated content. Rely on the research and the brainstorming phase, but make the final decisions yourself. Also avoid plagiarism. So ensure that what you submit is your own work, and do not pass off AI written content as your own thoughts. Also, just let's say, just to be safe, a suggestion: avoid sharing sensitive information. Probably when you're making your application and use the AI in the application journey, you won't even need to add anything sensitive. Just wanted to highlight that there is no need to add sensitive information. And very important, check for bias in your AI outputs. So AI makes mistakes, sometimes makes very silly mistakes. So make sure that you always check the output that AI gives you, and then you will be covered. Now I want to ask for your help or engagement as well. I have a few questions that I'm quite interested what you think, what the right answers are. So you will see a question, and then you will see 4 options. One of them, and only one of them, is the right one. And I want you to guess which one is the right one.
Sounds good. Excited for these. So feel free to share the letter that you think is correct in the chat, and we'll take that into account.
So how many students globally rely on AI for study applications annually?
Wow. Let's see if we get any...
all big numbers.
Listeners. Yeah, they're quite big, to be honest. Considering that like ChatGPT has only been around for about a year and a bit, so this means that I mean, of course, there are other AI tools, but the most accessible form of it has been only here for a little while. Let's see if we hear any reactions from our listeners as well. Although I probably can also guess a little bit, although I don't want to be proven wrong, but we can try. So wait another minute and then we can continue.
Yeah, certainly.
Maybe I'll guess for this one. I feel like the middle numbers are more comfortable. So what if I say 50 million?
If you would say 50 million, you would be correct.
Oh.
So yeah, it is estimated that around 50 million. Yeah,
wow.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So people already started using quite in big numbers AI. So then that's why it's very important to use it the right way. So it relates. So it really creates the competitive advantage for you.
For sure. And that means like in terms of the numbers total study abroad students every year, this must be most those going abroad are using AI in some form.
I would say yes, but there are also people using the AI for applying within their own countries. But yes, it also encompasses a lot of the study abroad journey.
Of course.
All right, let's see the next one. What is the estimated time saved by using AI for research and application process for the study abroad research and application?
Again, we'll wait in if there's any other live viewers today. I'll be the one who'll be guessing correctly or incorrectly. So let's see how far I get. We'll wait a few seconds if there's anyone who's going to share their response. Otherwise, we can guess as well. Let me guess again. This time around, I'll go for a lower number. I don't know if I can recall correctly that while I was studying and applying to uni, I spent, days and weeks reviewing and reflecting and re-reviewing my personal statements. So if I would have been able to cut down by 10 hours, that would have been amazing. So I'd go for option B.
Option B. I think you can cut down even more.
Oh, wow.
The estimate is that it's 25 hours, so it's close to a work week actually.
Yeah.
If you're doing it right, it can really save a lot of time. And I think within the application journey, that's probably the best use case, is the application part.
Absolutely.
Let's see the next ones.
This is an
And I
important
especially
one.
love this question.
Yeah, and it's actually a very this is part of the reason why we've launched UniGuide as well, is because of the lack of awareness of young people in the opportunities for them to go actually study
Yeah.
abroad. I'm your guessing person today, so I don't know. I'd love to hope it was something like A, but even B is a scary number, so I'll go with 50%. 50% don't actually know.
Yeah, 50%. Yeah, correct.
Wow.
So that's why I think that's why it's very important to use AI in the research, because it can generate so much more information in a short time and make sure that you're not overlooking something that you could apply for. And it really helps in the whole journey. So I fully agree with you. It's like so much, not just the amount, I mean, the number of scholarships overlooked, but the amount of funding that you could generate with that. It's also a significant number.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just it's a very easy question, to be honest. What's the most common first prompt students use on ChatGPT? 2+2, create my essay, help me with this maths problem, or hi, how are you?
Let's see if there's one of our silent listeners want to contribute at this point, but let's give it a second. I don't know. I feel like the first reaction would be just to see if it's real. So I'd probably go with something like, what's 2+2? Just like, can you actually answer my question?
Yeah, what's 2+2 is also a very common first prompt, but the most common is hi, how are you?
Okay, so we're this generation is pretty polite. That is.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah, that's nice. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing and kind of helping unlock some insights that are kind of quite shocking.
I think we have two more interesting questions, probably. What percentage of students cite career opportunities as the main reason for studying abroad?
I think this is pretty important. I know that a lot of students in our community are considering not only studying abroad, but actually, migrating there and leveraging the resources and higher social mobility in that country as well. Again, I'll pass first to the listeners if anyone has an idea what the right answer is. Give it a few seconds, and then I'll share my guess.
Let's hear what you think.
I don't know, something relatively high. I'd say 70%, 71%.
Yeah, to be honest, all of them are quite high, but it's 58%. Probably if we would look at only master or PhD student, that would be closer, I think, to 80 and 90. But overall, including bachelors as well, still more than half of the student for the student career opportunity is a main reason for studying abroad. And the next one is a quite interesting one as well, I think. So what is the average percentage of international students in universities worldwide? Ranging from 3.6 to 9.5%.
Okay. I want to try to recall the statistic for UCL, which is a relatively high number. I think it's around 10% of our student population actually come from abroad, but let's go for a B of 5.8%.
You would have been
Wow.
right with the close to 10%. Yeah,
Yeah.
almost every 10th student is in their study abroad journey.
Okay.
So you could also see from these numbers, especially this one, or how many people use AI in the study abroad journey and application journey, that it's a lot. So it's very important to use AI correctly, so
Yeah.
you can get the most benefit
Absolutely.
out of the tools. Not just being one more tool to use, but actually the tool to help you in the journey.
Absolutely.
So we can start with usually the first step is selecting the right place for you
Yeah.
in the application journey. I don't want to go into that much detail, but I like this ikigai concept, and probably it's a self-reflection part that could be important for anyone planning to study abroad or study within their own countries as well. Is the concept is ikigai is what's the reason for being, and when thinking about my profession, what I want to do later, there are a few questions that you can ask yourself to be clear with that. What are the things that you love? What are the things that you are good at? What the world needs, and of course what you can be paid for. It's an equally important question. And probably people are looking for their guy or reason for being for quite a long time.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfectly clear with everything when you are 18. I think the important part is to have a bit of a self-reflection around these topics, so you have a clearer idea what you want to do later, and meaning what you want to study in bachelor, master, or even further. As we mentioned, there are lots of scholarship opportunities as well. We can differentiate between 3 different groups usually. One is government scholarships. They're super competitive, and not even all government have this kind of scholarship. A few that do, for example, Ireland or the Netherlands or Hungary. It's a very competitive part of the scholarship. Then we have different organizations and foundations. A quite popular one is STEM for women. Is, for example, is a big scholarship type or category. But here you can find a lot which is not capitalized on enough. And then we have, of course, the university scholarships. There you can also find lots of different parts of scholarships. So scholarship is one thing that you want to consider in your journey, but there are so many other things you could, or you should, or you can consider. The budget, your family, different deadlines, so how much capacity you have to apply, the language, the culture, the country itself, cost of living, employability. So lots of different things. And of course, it's not something that we all know by heart at all. So, in the past, you relied a lot on Google. If you think of a country or a school, you Google all these things to make an informed decision, which can take a lot of time, obviously, especially if you want to do it for, 100 countries to shortlist your selection.
Yeah.
When you think about scholarships, it is the same thing. What you did is usually find the right country school combination, and then you started to look for scholarships. You can also there are a few pages where you can find aggregates for a certain country, but nothing that really encompasses the all the options that you have.
For sure.
So here comes AI into play, and first, especially the chatbots. It can be ChatGPT, Claude, Microsoft Copilot, DeepSeek, whatever. The common thing in all of them is that you can use it well, or you can use it not so well. And now I want to show you how to use it and how to prompt properly. So let's take hypothetical situation or a person, 18 years old, Vietnamese high school graduate, looking for something like a Bachelor of Finance course somewhere in Northern Europe or the Nordics. Let's stick with Nordics. You have an idea what the tuition fee should be, and you would want scholarship options. So in the past, you get on Google and started searching for a few days until you got tired. But what you can do with AI is basically prompt. And the right prompt and the right input, it really basically finds the output that you will get.
Yeah.
So you can build up effective prompts by combining these building blocks. I would say the first four is the common, most important ones. So task description, what you want AI to do, the role, what role do you want AI to play, the context, so you give background information, or specific requirements. For example, when we talked about tuition fee, how much the tuition fee should be as a maximum. You can also add boundaries. So what are the things they shouldn't include in their search? And you can ask reasoning, so to give you a reason why the AI chose these answers.
Yeah.
And I will show you an example in a second. But generally, what's important is not to overcomplicate it. Start with a simple prompt. Maybe use the first four building block, and then you build on it because it's an iterative process. So you will need to have some discussion with AI. But then let's see an example. Here I included all six, but an example could be act as an expert study abroad consultant. So that is the role. And list 5 Bachelor of Finance courses in any of the Nordic countries. That's the task description. So that's what I want you to do. I can apply to as an 18-year-old Vietnamese high school graduate, and you give a bit of context or background information. The tuition fee cannot be higher than 10,000 euro per year. That's a specific requirement. And also for each suggested course, give recommendation on available scholarships. That's also a specific requirement. I don't want to study accounting, so please exclude those. And also you can explain your reasoning, but probably this is not important in this case. I just wanted to give an example of all the building blocks.
Yeah.
So this is basically how a good quality prompt looks like.
Yeah.
So if you add this to ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, whatever, you will get, first of all, a very good output of 5 bachelor courses. And then you can go into deeper and ask a few other prompts. Those will be much shorter. Maybe you can just say, give me 10 more options. And then they will list 10 more. And then you can start making your own judgments and connect the dots and the information that you have to decide what you really want to do.
Yeah, this is very valuable. I think actually the first part of this prompt is not something we commonly do, as in give the role to the AI, because the AI could be a salesperson, for example, from a university, and that's a very different type of approach that you want versus like a world-class expert in study abroad journeys. I also think that as well as explaining your reasoning, I think one thing that all these kind of new chatbots are doing are including sources and links. So you can ask them, please provide the source of this information and ways to apply. And the final thing that I would also like to add, I'm sure you've already included this, but what I've also discovered in my own personal kind of usage of AI is the clarity and context you provide creates better results. And I think one of the challenges that we have as young people is that we want immediate answers, but background is so important. So if you can share, I'm doing A levels, these 3 subjects, I feel strong in these subjects, not in the same prompt, and you can sometimes split up prompts just so that you can, make it like, hey, I would like to work with you to help me select university. I would like to share a bit more prompt. Are you here? Are you ready to listen to who I am? Or are you able to review my grade transcripts? So that starts to create a history after which you can start kind of going targeted. But this is a very great example that provides very concrete results that allows us to take next steps.
Yeah, exactly. Fully agree. And for example, in this case, when you give the context of your nationality, that can also help, because sometimes there are different rules based on the nationality.
Exactly.
Maybe you need different documents in the application process. So that also gives quite a good context in what I'm looking for and what the outcome will be.
Yeah.
And yeah, I fully agree. You can always ask, please provide your sources with the proper links.
Yeah.
So you can just click on it, and that's way easier. And there are a few other things that you can do, and I will talk about those as well in a second. So here, just another example. Now the first four, the key building blocks. As a scholarship advisor, provide the list of 5 scholarships for international students applying to Australian universities for engineering bachelor programs. And in the context, you also give that I have a 90% grade average and I'm passionate about renewable energy. So you will get more specific recommendations on that certain topic. You can also ask to include the eligibility criteria, deadlines, application tips, and whatever you want. So I really hope that you will start playing around with these kind of prompts in this format, because it really gives you a better outcome than how we usually are originally doing prompts. Is basically the way we were writing to Google. That's how we started to use AI, and that's not the correct way, because those are not similar tools at all.
Absolutely.
I also wanted to bring you a prompt or a help around how to plan the application journey, because there are so many things that you need to consider. Different admission criteria for the course, for the country, for scholarships, the different deadlines as well for all of these. And if you're applying to, let's say, 3 or 5 different courses and countries, that can be very overwhelming as well.
Absolutely.
So you can use AI to help you with that, because you need to think about how to when to give buffer time for certain application process parts, how much time you would need for a motivation letter, and it's usually more than you would think, or the admin priorities that that you also need to do in the application journey. So you can use a simple prompt as act as a task manager expert, break down the process of preparing for a scholarship application or the bachelor course application itself into weekly tasks over 3 months. Use this information, and here you can just give a link of the course that you're applying to, and the AI will take it, analyze it, take all the information. And I want you to create milestones and deadlines for every requirement. And this will give you a very good, very simple project plan with milestones, with deadlines. Then you can just drop in your calendar, and then you're good to go with the whole process. Again, I think it's important to mention again that AI can make mistakes. So make sure that you quickly double check the information so that you are not, mistaken because of that. I think it is getting better based on what I experienced. So less and less mistakes, and also the better the prompts, the less the mistakes it makes. But just as a heads up to always check the output.
Absolutely. It's I just want to pause there as well, because especially with something like deadlines, this is a very, very critical. It could disqualify you for an application. So please do understand that it may even be that they have source of information a year prior or 2 years prior, and that creates a hallucination as well. So really important for you to consider all those factors when you're considering this application process. However, it is a very, very critical part. especially when you're prioritizing tasks and destinations. And this could be a really good source of insights for you to figure out how to move forward. Thanks, Peter.
Indeed. Or if you are doing it too early, and maybe the university application is around March, April, May, and you are doing it the year before in December, maybe you will have, as you said, last year's deadlines and requirements on the website, and hasn't been updated yet. Just make sure that you always check the information. So I know that most of you are high school students or graduates looking to get into bachelor courses. I would say 99% of the time, a CV will not be required in the application process. So I just very quickly wanted to bring you one prompt that can help you in case it's a course where CV is required. Act as a career advisor, draft a one-page CV for applying to a bachelor program in environmental science. You can add the exact link as context of the course. You can upload documents as well. You can upload your draft CV, or even you can just give your LinkedIn if you have, and it will analyze that information which is there. And you also want to emphasize academic achievement, and there's a specific requirement you want to include the personal statement section. And then it will create a CV, which probably means that you are saving quite a lot of time with this whole process. Also, just a quick heads up here that it also depends on what the university is requiring. Some universities, especially in Europe, they might want a CV in a certain format, like a EuroPass format. And then it's probably easier if you just use that template and not AI, just to avoid any confusion or misalignment. But generally speaking, this prompt helps, and this can save a lot of time if you need to write a CV. But probably you won't have to yet, only when you're getting to masters. And then I think something that most application requires, some kind of essay, motivation letter, statement of purpose, something like that. So I want to spend a bit of time on explaining how to prompt, but also what other tools, AI tools, do you have that you can use. As I said, for now, we mostly focused on the different chatbot type of tools, which I think for 99% of the people and for the cases, it's enough because it will really help with research and phrasing and paraphrasing certain things. But I wanted to bring you a few other options as well in case you want to use them. But generally speaking, essays, I would say, are one of the most important parts of the application process. It can really tip the decision in your favor. So make sure that you spend enough time on drafting, redrafting, and iterating your essays. Usually when we are thinking about essays, we want to cover three questions. We call it three magical questions, which is why you? So why should they select you? And then why have you selected this school and this course? Most of the essays that you write are about these questions. Even if they ask about motivation or future or past or whatever, these are the real questions that they want to know. Why they should select you and why you have selected them. I added here a few tips and tricks as well. I don't want to get into that too much. You will be able to see it when you get the presentation. I much rather go into the tools that you can use. So here I want to mention as well that you don't have to use all the tools. I recommend you not to use all the tools. Use the ones that you believe will help you. From the ones that you see here, and I will go one by one, I'm also using a few personally, but I would not use a few others because it simply doesn't work for me. So you need to find what works for you and then use those ones. So for example, I like using mind maps to jot down my thoughts, the connection between the thoughts, or even when writing an essay or was writing an essay, the main message is how these messages connect to each other, how my experience support those messages. And for that, I'm using mind maps. And I wanted to give here a few examples that are AI tools as well, and they can use them. Is it Miro or Lucid Charts? It's just a few examples, but you can find more as well. And all of these that you can see here, it's they all have a free to use section, which is perfectly enough for the study abroad journey. So no need to spend money on that kind of things. Especially when writing an essay, some people, not me, but some people like journaling, meaning that the way they gather their thoughts is basically by writing. So they start writing, and everything that comes to their mind, they just write until it ends and they are empty. And then you probably have a few pages of, I wouldn't say rambling, but unorganized thoughts.
Yeah.
And here AI can help as well. Day One is one example, Day One journaling app that can organize these thoughts into structures, different sections, and that can really speed up the process of writing a motivation letter. So it just really helps you being organized. If you are the type of person that learns and thinks well while journaling. Again, I'm not the type of person. Again, and then some people like to use, like to speak as they think. Mm-hmm. And that's where voice dictation is also quite helpful. So you just start talking and talking and talking, same as with journaling, just speaking, and that's how you generate your thoughts and different sections of your motivation letter and different thoughts and messages. And here you can use Otter AI or Google Doc Voice to again organize these thoughts, putting it into some kind of structure or framework, so you can easily adopt it as parts of the motivation letter. Language, again. It's quite important to not to be perfect when writing a motivation letter, because if you are, and I'm also not a native English speaker, it's fine to make mistakes, not to use native sounding words and sentences. It's not so fine to have typos, so that's something that you need to pay attention to. Yeah. But you can also enhance a bit your writing using, for example, Grammarly. That's what I'm using as well. Make sure that I'm not making some mistakes or not writing typos in the documents, or SlickWrite, or there are a few others as well that you could use. And then again, for the writing, to use synonyms or expand your vocabulary a little bit, you can use Wordtuner or Thesaurus or a few others as well. Here I just want to highlight that the aim is not to sound perfect and native, because if you're not, you shouldn't, because that's immediately a red flag that it's not you who wrote the document, but you can enhance your vocabulary and your writing a bit with these AI tools.
Wonderful. It's just really valuable, and it shows the variety of tools out there to support you. One thing that has been really important for me has been the dictation tool, actually, because I am someone who likes to speak, and it's been really valuable for me to just be able to write essays or concepts by just kind of continuously speaking. I also think that this can be used at different stages of your personal statement as well. So mind mapping right at the beginning, trying to connect different ideas together, a dictation or journaling when you're kind of starting to put all those big ideas into written form, and then using the final ones to kind of tweak and refine it as well. So really valuable insights. I just also want to just quickly highlight if there are questions that you may have specifically on these topics. So right now we're discussing leveraging AI in your application essay, but across the board, using AI in your university application journey, we'd love to kind of share our thoughts and answer your questions as well. So thanks, Peter. Back to you.
Awesome. So exactly, you can use all of these tools. You can use none of these tools. That's also fine. As said at the beginning, I think the most important one is at the research phase and using those chatbots. But as you said, in different parts of the both the essay writing and the application journey, there are some tools that can really help you, and these are the ones that I know of, and some of them I use daily, and I'm also quite happy with that. That's why I'm suggesting it to you as well. And at the last section, I want to talk a bit about interviews. Again, for a bachelor application, you don't always have an interview. It's not as rare as asking for a CV. So that's why I want to give you a few tips on how to use AI in the preparation, because when the success of the interview, it depends 90% on the preparation at least, or even more.
And one thing to mention is that definitely about in scholarship stages, interviews do play a role, especially in European countries and certain destinations. So I think it is an important thing for us as young people to be aware of. I'm sure we'll get to applications, interviews at some point in our lives, but these skills are sometimes critical, especially when you're, for example, Oxbridge. If you're applying to Oxford or Cambridge, you need to do an interview to get through. Similarly with scholarship places as well. So I think it's a critical skill set that we also need to be good at.
100%. So let me jump to the preparation part. There's a lot of things that you need to prepare before an interview. The setting to make sure that the room is set up, good video, good audio quality, equipment check, the lighting, making sure that you tell your cat not to meow in those 1 hour when you have the interview. You have to sleep, you practice, be on time, dress well, all these kind of things, which is true even if it's an online or offline interview. It doesn't matter. But where you can use AI is, of course, it cannot help you sleep more. Although sometimes it can. Yes, but in the research phase, to research about the university itself, the program itself, the questions that they would ask from you, and the questions that you should ask from them as well. So that's where you can use AI. During the interview, you also need to pay attention to body language and tonality. I won't go into details on all the things that you should or shouldn't do. You can also have full-on books just around tonality. And again, if you're not a native speaker, they don't expect you to be a native speaker, and that's perfectly fine. But again, it's just a suggestion. If you think that your English is not easily understandable, you can work a bit around pronunciation to make sure that, yes, audio connection is good and it's important. Just make sure that you can speak a bit better and easier for them to understand. And that's one thing that you can also work on if you think you need to. But again, they don't expect you to be perfect, and that's perfectly fine. The interview itself is also focused on these magical questions, why they should choose you and why you have chosen them. And throughout the whole application journey, these are the three questions that you always need to keep in mind, because that's what they want to ask you and have answers, even if they don't ask it exactly like this. And I've added a few common interview questions that you can see here. I will not go into details. There are a lot more than they could ask. I also did a few that you could ask from them. And I also suggest that you do ask questions from them. Always have 1 or 2 questions up your sleeve, to make sure that you show them, you demonstrate that you are interested, and you want to make an informed decision on your future.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that the having questions to ask shows a lot of perceptiveness, shows foresight, shows interest beyond just a couple of it also shows a lot of preparedness as well. So I would really encourage you to ask not too philosophical questions, but also the question itself should show a sense of knowledge and understanding. Sometimes technical questions on what the course is like or certain areas of topics that are interest to you are good. Certain times more around the values and the culture and these type of things. So you're not just looking to be part of the degree, but actually part of that ecosystem and environment that they provide as well. So it's really, really valuable. So I would really encourage, and it's a good point, Peter, that you've highlighted.
Yeah, certainly. Just make sure that you're not asking those questions that you find the answers on the website landing page.
Yeah.
That's why it's good to use AI here as well, to enhance those ideas that you have and have those few questions in mind. A lot of things that you should not do during an interview, but I will not go into that detail because I want to show you a few prompts that you can use, practical prompts that you can use in this section, the interview preparation section. Again, it includes the 4 main building blocks, as we discussed at the beginning. So act as a mock interview coach, simulate an interview for a business school application. For context, include the link for that specific course. And a specific requirement, provide feedback on answers and delivery examples of stronger answers as well. So you can also learn from that. And if you add this prompt, you basically start a conversation with AI. They will ask you a few questions. You will answer them as you see fit, and then it will give you feedback on what you're doing well, what could you do better. Because at the beginning I said that, and I honestly think it's very true, that it's all about preparation, not just the research, but practice as well. So practice the way you speak and practice your answers as well.
This is something that's actually such a game changer, I'd say, because a few years back, if you wanted to have someone do a mock interview, you'd have to go to your uncle or aunt's house and tell them, can you please ask me some questions? Sometimes they don't know the context, sometimes they do. So this is really a valuable way of using it. And actually, some of the tools that we use in the chatbots actually have a voice dictation mode as well. So you can actually set this up, and then you will have basically an interviewer asking you questions. You read the question, you use a dictation mode, you respond to the question, and you keep doing that. At the end of the day, you will get a set of kind of feedbacks and ways to improve your responses as well. So I think it's a very, very smart way of leveraging AI, which wouldn't be a common idea. You wouldn't expect yourself to be questioned by AI, but this is exactly what the AI is doing.
Indeed. And you can also use it for your body language and tonality. So you can use the prompt as act as a body language expert, provide tips for improving posture and nonverbal cues during an university admission interview, focus on confidence building for an online interview, and include specific exercises even to practice. And then you can record yourself as well. And you can upload that recording, and AI will analyze it for you and give you feedback on, how to use your tonality, your body language. If you're, always for some reason that one side of the camera or the other side, it will capture that and give you the feedback. So I think this is the best tool for confidence building, because you really practice and get expert feedback basically on body language and tonality, and that's a big part of the confidence, besides the research, of course, and your knowledge. You can also use the prompts to act as an admissions communication specialist, prepare a student for tough questions about weaknesses during an interview, context, focus on framing these weaknesses as growth opportunities, and also include sample phrasing and strategies to remain positive. It's a bit of a fluffier prompt, but still quite useful as I don't think at that stage when we are just graduated high school and getting into university, talking about weaknesses and how to frame those weaknesses is a common thing. So that can really help you and help students to, again, getting a bit more confident in how to frame certain answers in the best possible way.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing to just kind of again add is the fact that you do need to provide a context, because you don't want it to interview like a panel interview at the stage of a CEO. You need to make sure that it is relevant and applicable to your context. So the prompt and the role itself is really critical to predefine before you get into this at the stage of the usage.
100%. All right. I know that we talked a lot. I mean, I talked a lot about the different AI tools and prompting and different parts of the application journey. Again, you don't have to use all of them. I think if you start using these chatbots correctly, you will save so much time and it make your life so much easier than it is. That it really is a game changer. The rest of the tools, I think they're also good ones and can help a lot. But I think the biggest impact is good prompting, and then you will get the quality output that you are looking for.
Absolutely. Thanks, Peter. This has been a really, really interesting and insightful session. I know some of our listeners have come in and out. I think Kalani asked whether this will be posted after the live session. Yes, as soon as we end this, will be available on a YouTube video as well. I know some of you have not been able to be part of the whole process. I do wonder if anyone is still listening or has been part of some of it. This question is a great one to just kind of get your feedback. What has been a key learning so far about the use of AI in university admissions? Has there been something new that you've discovered in today's session, particularly, or something that you're planning to use AI for in the next few months as you get into that stage? So feel free to share through the live stream chat on YouTube, and we can share some feedback as well to Peter. As you wait for that, one thing that has been really quite insightful for me actually has been the usage in the kind of the interview stage, to be honest. I think it's easy to forget how important it is to present yourself, and I've recently been using it a lot more in my not really just like, oh, generate this answer for me, but more in the sense of become this expert, adopt this persona or role, and then support me in this task. And it's a very, very interesting, proposition to be in. And actually interviewing you could actually create a great way for the AI to know you as well. So for example, if you're going into the, personal statement writing exercise, first start with interview me and ask me questions to help me create a personal statement. And then the AI will start prompting you, asking you things that would be relevant for them to build up in their chat history as well, or the memory. So it's a really cool way of flipping the script completely in how we commonly use AI and use it in a unique way. So that's been something that's been a highlight for me during our session today.
That's awesome. And to be honest, there are so many things that you can use AI for. It's really what we talked about today is just scratching the surface. It was mostly about efficiency, making sure that the research of the different schools and where you want to study, it doesn't take weeks and weeks, but really you can get everything done in one day, get all the information that you need in one day, structured. So I still think that there's so many things that you can do. Probably for just high school students and graduates, the research phase is the most difficult one, because there's so much new information coming in, and it is a big decision, to be honest. studying abroad at 18, 19. So you want the most information naturally. And in the past, it was about endless Google searches, which what I did as well, and it was horrible. And I wish we had AI at that time, because it really makes a huge difference.
For sure. Peter, I'll mention to our listeners, if there's any kind of questions that they have for us, please do share in your chat. The recording will be available, and we'll also make sure that the presentation PDF is made available as well, because there's a lot of really gold dust in those exemplary prompts that we could adapt and use as well. So feel free to share your questions in the chat as we're talking. But my question to you is what does TenjinAI do? What have you been doing and helping students with?
Certainly. So basically what we discussed today, that's what we do. That's what we help people with, supporting students in the application journey. Also teaching students on about the use of AI, ethical and effective, efficient ways to use AI throughout the application journey. Sometimes as we said, sometimes we start very early, and you still haven't graduated and you started to discuss all these options, because sometimes you want more hand holding, and we are happy to support students one-on-one as well, to take them through the whole journey, and supporting them in each and every way of applying to scholarships and universities. Sometimes they require less help. Let's just say one module is the interview preparation, and then we just help with that. Because what we did at TenjinAI is that we created an online course which is focused on 6 different modules of the main steps and main parts and processes of the study abroad journey. So starting with selecting the right school, creating a project plan for the whole of that, CV writing, essay writing, interview preparation, and the cultural aspect of moving abroad. So that's 6 modules that we have as an online course. That people, if they want, they can go through the whole course in one-on-one or group session as well, or just choose different modules that they want to know about. Or again, sometimes they want more hand-holding and one-on-one support throughout the whole year of the application. So it's quite varied and
That's me as well.
Of what we do.
Amazing. That's been very helpful, Peter, for us, for sure, to just get that high-level overview of how you've been supporting and the kind of the insights that you've been able to share today as well. I want to highlight a message that we got through Kalani, saying that she's been able to find out something new, that she can actually use and improve her way of speech using AI, which I think it's also quite a new insight for me as well, the way we're talking about leveraging AI in our interview stages and so forth as well. So that's really happy to hear that, Kalani, and hope you get more benefits from the rest of the session as well. We have one question from Pradeen Saif, who's might have just joined, so doesn't know the past context, but doesn't have a lot of good extracurricular activities, but has great A-level results, the relevance of a scholarship. Maybe Peter, you could share a little bit about the use and the way that you discuss a scholarship search process, maybe to them.
Yeah. So generally speaking, extra activities always help in the process, but it's not a must as well in getting scholarships. So the way I would approach this question is basically use a chatbot. You will be able to see the recording, and we have a section to talk about how to prompt and how to use the chatbot for these questions. And then you can give your current summary, your situation of what do you have, what don't you have, and then AI will help you as well list the available scholarships in. You need to make sure that you add a few contexts, so which country, which type of course you want to apply to, and then AI will help you list all the relevant and available scholarships that you can apply to. But as a general answer, it's if you don't have much extracurricular activities, it doesn't mean that you cannot get scholarships.
Absolutely. No, that's a great point, and hope that satisfies your thoughts as well, Ferdinand. We'll wait a couple more seconds in case there's any other questions coming in, because I know we're at the hour, but we have a few more new joiners. So it's been a really insightful session going through this process with you and seeing the different stages and uses of AIs, both chatbots and non-chatbots as well, to really benefit from our journey. So I think with that, we'll probably close. And thank you again, Peter, for taking time. Those who are listening in can learn more about TenjinAI through the links that are provided, and we will definitely be sharing a little bit more on the follow-ups as well, including the slide deck as well for you to continue to review and get benefits from. So thank you, Peter, for your time.
Thanks, Zubair, for having me. And if you need any support, please reach out.
Fantastic. Have a good rest of the day, everyone. And we look forward to hearing your feedback about how this session has gone for you. And we'd love to hear your feedback on a quick form that we'll just put up as soon as this session ends. So feel free to scan the QR code and just complete a quick few forms so that we can know how we've gone and how we can improve in the future as well. But it's been a great session. Thank you for joining, and have a great rest of the day. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.